And here we go. On this Monday, it is the last day of October, also known as Halloween, 2022. You are in the midst of Real Talk Memphis, 6 o'clock straight up on this Monday evening. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. So happy to have you with us on this Halloween holiday. I had actually saw a few folks as I was pulling in here to the studio dressed up in costumes and things like that. I will admit, I'm in costume tonight. I came as a black man. Now, for most of you, I know that comes as a bit of a shock because I don't sound ethnic, but let me stop. Anyway, if you are going to be participating in the Halloween holiday tonight, please be careful out there. Please be careful on the streets, walking around out there. If you're taking the babies out, make sure you are keeping a good close eye on them as they go from house to house, making sure that everybody is safe. All our little ghouls and goblins are going to be safe. And when they get home, monitor the candy. They're going to get, because kids are already overactive enough. Not to add a little sugar to the mix, it makes them even crazier. So, having said that, enjoy yourself if you're going out and about. I know a lot of folks had parties and things last night to celebrate all of this. But as I digress and as we move forward to this night, we have a good show for you tonight. We do a little show here called Real Talk Memphis from 6 to 7 p.m. And if you're wondering how you can get this fine piece of radio broadcasting, well, you can catch us on 91.7 WYXR on your FM dial live. You can also catch us on the TuneIn app right now. Put in WYXR in the search and hit play, and you should be able to catch us. We are also on Facebook Live, and you can check us out this evening as well. We will be on YouTube sometime tomorrow after the show post, and as we are a podcast, when the show does post tomorrow afternoon, you can catch us wherever it is you get your podcast. You good? You feel good about it? How's everybody feeling tonight? I was a little down and out last week. I had a little upper respiratory illness that really kind of knocked me on my tail. Feeling better today, still dealing with some of the remnants. However, still feeling a lot better than I did before. A lot of folks are dealing with issues of the flu. And this RSV, which attacks young children ages 2 and under. The flu has started with a vengeance, and folks in the CDC and a lot of other health officials are saying that it's as bad as we've seen it at this early a period of time as it has been in the last decade. Now, I'm telling you, you might go out and get that flu shot. I think it would be a good thing for you to do. It doesn't keep you from getting the flu, no, but it could keep you from being, critically ill, maybe in the hospital even. So with that and COVID still around and RSV, there's a lot of stuff to deal with. And then the weather is, kind of up and kind of down. Today, I think we may touch 70 this afternoon. But the next few days, we're going to see a warming trend, and I think temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s in the next couple of days as well. We have a good show for you tonight, or at least that is my hope for you. We have a variety of things to talk about. First, we're going to talk about the big election that is coming up on November 8th, and in doing so, we're going to speak with Linda Phillips. She is the election commissioner of Shelby County. They got some new voting machines here recently, and find out how things are working out so far, what the numbers are, in terms of this midterm election cycle and how things are going, generally speaking, and what we can expect on Election Day, which is next Tuesday. Early voting ends this week as well. So if you haven't gotten a chance to get out and vote, well, you know what? Take that chance. Take that opportunity. Get out and vote. Express yourself at the polls like we all have a right to do. We are also going to talk a little bit. I don't know how many of you have heard about this amendment on the ballot. It is called Proposition 3, I think it is. And basically what it is there has been a note on the Tennessee Constitution forever that says that still makes a reference to slavery. Now, I know it hasn't been an issue for quite some time, and no, it's not an issue now, but we're going to have a conversation about that. Basically, there is a movement afoot to remove any references to slavery or indentured servitude off of the Tennessee Constitution. We're going to talk to Representative Joe Towns and Kathy Chambers about that. And, of course, an old friend is returning to the Bluff City after a 10-plus year absence. What is that? It is the 114th edition of the Holy Convocation, a.k.a. COVID, my gosh. I knew I was going to do that, too. COGIC, the COGIC Convocation, 114th edition, will be back here, and it will be here starting next week. They're expecting thousands of saints to come in from all across the country. They'll be here for about 7 days. And we're going to talk a little bit about all of that with Bishop Brandon Porter from Greater Community Temple. He's also a general board member of COGIC and one of the driving forces trying to get this back in our city. As it said, we've said it's been well over 10 years. They were supposed to come back last year from St. Louis, but COVID reared its ugly head, and it was best advised not to come. All right, so that's the lineup for tonight. If everything goes as planned, we should have a pretty good show. We always take this time to celebrate you. If you had a birthday over the weekend, if you have one today, if you have one this week, you know what? We'll take all comers. We like to do a birthday shout out on this show better than anybody else in the country. So having said all that, we can't do it until I say, hit it, Lola. Happy birthday! All right. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Going out to Jerome Robinson. Happy birthday to you. Lynn Sittler. She's the commissioner over the Memphis and Shelby County Film and Television Commission. Happy birthday to you, Lynn. Paul Morris celebrating today. My old friend Ed Eccles, a.k.a. the Weatherman, celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday going out to Tiffany Wilson. Laquita Baines is celebrating today, as is Andre Half Pint Lewis. Jeffrey Salter celebrating today. Happy birthday to Lynette Hill, to Monica Shepard, Brenda Lee, and Lynn Christensen. So to each and every one of you, happy birthday. I hope you're celebrating wonderfully. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the part of the time that Lola interrupts me with a birthday. So who you got? T. Alice. Happy birthday to T. Alice. I had to get that in because Lola was waving her arms frantically at me. But anyway, congratulations to each and every one of you for your current trip around the sun. We hope to be back with you next year to celebrate another trip around the sun. Happy birthday to each and every one. All right, so as we get into news and notes today, a couple of deaths to reference. Last week, we mourned the passing of State Representative Barbara Cooper. She died at the age of 93. Of course, she was the longest serving representative in the state of Tennessee and served all of us very, very well. And it was announced on Friday that the rock and roller Jerry Lee Lewis left us. He was 87 years old after an illness. I don't know if you all were following that. A couple of days before, word had gotten out that he apparently had died, and then apparently he hadn't died. But anyway, we mourn his loss. We all know the great music that he made for all of us, made us proud right here in the Mid-South. And I heard some news just a little while ago, and I'm still a little shocked by it. Melvin Massey, the voice for many years here on local radio, 91.7 WUMR, the jazz station. He was the program director. He was also an on-air personality over there for many, many years. He mentored so many folks. He was he was big time in this city, and apparently he passed very recently. And like I said, I literally just heard about it a few minutes ago. But so many of you, if you've been in Memphis a while, you know the Jazz Lover Station, and you listened to him, and you knew who he was. He, like I said, he was a face and a name and an icon in radio in this town. So, God bless, all of those who have left us, and may their memories be a blessing. I believe that the visitation for him is tomorrow, and I believe the funeral is on Wednesday morning. So you can look up that information and find out if you want to pay your respects to him. Man, that's a big loss. In news and notes, we had another very active crime weekend in our city. We had 6 murders in a couple of days, including a quadruple shooting, which ended up killing a male and wounding 3 others. An 18-year-old is the one primarily responsible for that. We also had a shooting that killed a 17-year-old girl and wounded a 3-year-old child over the weekend. So it just continues on. Unfortunately, the news just never stops in terms of just the escalation of violence in our city and the lack of regard for human life in our city as well. So the big controversy in this town now is about Memphis in May. Well, no, not that Memphis in May is not going to be around, because it will. It was supposed to return back to Tom Lee Park next year, which is under construction currently. The committee announced, the Memphis in May committee last week announced that they are going back to the park, right? They're going to be back and everything's going to be good. Well, the people that oversee the park and do security and do cleanup and everything else say not so fast. There has been no contract signed between them and the Memphis in May folks. They did ask the mayor to intervene in this situation, and apparently he did. But apparently this sounds to me like one of those bargaining tools, to where the Memphis in May committee says, yeah, we're going back. We're excited. We're happy. We're going back to where home is. And it sounds like a bargaining tool to me. If you say that something is happening, the people start to absorb that, and they go, yes, coming back to Tom Lee Park. And then, you almost pressure the other folks into saying, all right, well, we'll compromise this time. Well, again, nothing has been formally done in reference to whether or not it will be at Tom Lee Park. My guess is it will be at some particular point in time, but not right now. As I said earlier, early voting ends this week. The election is November 8th. And, big news, Kojak coming back to the city. This has been, 11 to 12 years from what I was told since the last time they were here. We're expecting anywhere from 30 to 40,000 Saints from all across the country to descend on our city as the week moves forward. And the economic benefit could be anywhere about 40, 45, maybe $50 million before it's all said and done. Let us make an agreement that we all going to be on our best behavior here, okay? Because they left in the first place because they didn't feel like they were being treated properly. They, meaning the organization and a lot of the folks who were in town, and, there were some issues in terms of all of that. But we also have folks that live here and work here and make their living here. So hopefully the folks coming in town, will do their due diligence to help our folks here on the economic tip as well. We all have to do our part because we want them to be able to stick around and not only have a great experience, so they will come back over and over again, and we won't have to deal with this, down the road here. Okay, so let's all try to do our part. As I said, I think before, we already know Sheriff Floyd Bonner is in the mayor's race. There were some ugly comments made at a first get-together of the Democratic candidates for mayor last week from Joe Brown, the former Judge Joe Brown, who made some very sexist comments about women and how he didn't think that there were some issues that one would handle as a mayor that he didn't think that they could handle. Not good at all. Not good at all. No excuse for that whatsoever. Finally, of course, many of us heard Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked with a hammer by a deranged individual who broke in the house at 2:00 in the morning because he wanted to see the speaker and talk to her. This is clearly about hate and intimidation in the voting situation across the country, which is becoming rather frightening. But in any event, her husband Paul suffered some issues, with his skull. He got hit with a hammer in the head several times. Skull fracture, injuries to his arms and his hands. They say he's going to be all right. That's a look at news and notes for this Monday evening. We're going to get on with the show. What do you say? When we come back, we are going to talk about the upcoming election with our election commissioner, Linda Phillips. This is Real Talk Memphis for this Monday evening. I'm Chip. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by Minglewood Hall, presenting Big Head Todd and the Monsters. Spanning 3.5 decades of touring and recording, Big Head Todd and the Monsters is a blues-inspired rock band and has earned endorsements from Robert Plant to the Denver Broncos. More information at minglewoodhallmemphis.com.
Support for WYXR is made possible by the 16th Annual River Arts Fest, taking place Saturday, October 22nd and Sunday, October 23rd on Riverside Drive in downtown Memphis. 2 full days of fine art and music for the whole family. Details available at riverartsmemphis.org.
WYXR is supported by GPAC, presenting Charles Lloyd Trio on Friday, November 4th. NEA Jazzmaster and native Memphian Charles Lloyd has a sound that reflects a lifetime of experience. The Memphis Music Hall of Fame inductee will be accompanied by Harish Raghavan and Anthony Wilson. More information at gpacweb.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. And of course, many of us know that Election Day is upon us, or almost upon us. Next week, next Tuesday, will be Election Day in the city and across the country, otherwise known as midterms. Here in Memphis, we recently got some new voting machines. And I wanted to kind of spend a couple of minutes talking about, how things are going in terms of that. The numbers for the election and things such as that. So pleased to have on the show, once again, a return visitor, but always a welcome visitor, the election commissioner of Shelby County, Ms. Linda Phillips. And we also have Mr. Ian Randolph of the Voters Alliance. You folks with me tonight?
Yes.
Well, Linda, I see.
Yeah, and you have to excuse me because I'm driving.
Okay, all right. Well, very good. Well, thanks for joining us. And Linda, first, to start with you, I guess we're all curious as to finding out how the new election machines are functioning, and how glad are you to actually have some new machines?
Well, we're absolutely delighted that the county commission funded the replacement of the machines. Our old machines, they were good, they were reliable, but they were at the end of their life. So We have all new equipment for this election, and what we're hearing from voters is they really, really like it.
Well, that's a good sign right off the top. That people are pleased with it. Does it take away any complications? Are you hearing any complaints about a difficulty in accessing or being able to do what needs to be done in terms of voting?
No, we're not. I mean, in this election, voters have a choice. They can use the touch that are similar to what they have used in the past. The difference is that it prints out a list of the people that they voted for or their choices on the amendments. And they can examine that paper trail and then put it in the scanner where it would sit until, unless we needed a recount or an audit. Voters also have the choice to select a hand-marked paper ballot, which is like fill in the bubbles from tests you had in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take that paper ballot, you look at it, make sure it's what you want, and then you put it in the same scanner. So voters seem to like both methods.
I was going to say, I was just getting ready to ask you, how do they feel about that? They obviously have a choice, and I guess it's all about preference and I guess what folks are more comfortable with, do you think?
Yeah, and we don't care. I mean, it gets us exactly the same result. It gives us an audit trail. We're very happy with either choice. I would say that the majority of voters, though, are selecting the ballot marking device, maybe because it's more comfortable. I mean, it's very similar to what they've used for the last 15, 20 years here in Shelby County.
So, Ian, you're part of the Voters Alliance. Can you tell us basically, what you all do and your role in this election process?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
I got you now.
All right. Well, at the Voter Alliance, we were formed in 2020. Our mission is to increase voter participation and to increase voter education around our elections. So that's basically our role in this. For clarification, the Shelby County Voter Alliance and the Shelby County Election Commission are two separate entities. Voter Alliance is made up of nonprofits and 501c3s. Currently, we have over 50 organizations that are working to improve turnout with our that work to start working with the election.
We're kind of having a little bit of an issue with you. I know you're driving, and I know
to help spread. Yes, sir.
Yeah. To help spread the word. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up what you were going to say.
To help spread the word about the changes to the precincts and the districts that happened after census. And we've also been helping to educate our residents on the new voting machines. And as Linda said, everybody seems happy with them. I've only had a few reports of people having a problem when they electronic voting machine to vote for someone. So I would encourage your listeners to double check who you voted for before you turn your paperwork in.
So, Linda, in terms of where we are numbers wise, we all know, and you said it many times on many occasions, that midterms don't generate a lot of energy or excitement, especially here in Memphis and Shelby County. There are some amendments and some other folks, running for election and for re-election. But basically, the numbers are relatively flat at this particular point in time.
Well, they're not as robust as I would hope for. But of course, I go into every election wanting 100% of all voters to vote.
Sure.
But, there are, in a lot of areas of the community, there's really, the Tennessee House race has already been decided because there's no opponent.
Right.
And, we don't have a Senate race in this election as, we did 2 years ago. So, there's just not a lot of television ad buys that help, voters remember there's an election.
Yeah, and I think that's a very, very important component in terms of all of this. What are you looking for in terms of numbers on election day itself? What do you think?
Oh, wow. I've never yet predicted a number that's been close to accurate, but I hope 30%. I really do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, like you say, there's really not a lot of steam there, and that brings me back to you, Ian. You're responsible for your organization is for really kind of galvanizing folks in terms of the importance of every election that we're dealing with. But again, is it a little bit more challenging because of what Linda said in terms of the number of folks on the ballot and really it's a midterm election. It makes your job a little more challenging, no?
Yes, like Linda said, when you have races like some of the state house races that were decided right around, well, let me put it like the ones who won their primary do not have an opponent going into the general election.
Mm-hmm.
So people in those districts may not have a big incentive to turn out to vote. But I'm encouraging everyone to show up for those ballot amendments. They're very Amendment number 1 speaks to unions and the right to work. Amendment number 2 talks about the secession if something happens to the governor. Amendment number 3 deals with slavery verbiage that is still in the Tennessee Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are really surprised that we still have slavery language in the Constitution. And the last amendment, number 4, is basically just a housekeeping amendment. And that deals with priests and ministers being allowed to serve in the state legislature.
Well,
so please come out and vote. It's important.
It is important. I mean, we all, there's been a hard-fought right to vote. And Linda, before I get out of here, I just want to ask you, we have seen and we have heard a lot of conversation across our country, especially during this voting cycle. A lot of folks upset. A lot of folks are dealing with voter intimidation issues. We see it on the news every day. And I've not heard any issues in reference to that here, but I thought I would ask the person who is in charge of our election cycle, has there been any kind of conversation in reference to folks perhaps in trying to intimidate others into not voting?
I have not heard of any reports like that. A lot of the intimidation you see going on in other states is really related to drop boxes for absentee ballots.
Yes.
They're not permitted in Tennessee. So, you have to mail your ballot back or send it in by a courier service like FedEx or UPS. So there's just not the same level of intimidation. And, Tennessee has 100-foot, campaign-free zone outside of every early voting location and every polling place. So, campaign workers or people who might want to intimidate are, if they cross that 100-foot line, we'll call the sheriff and have them arrested.
So there are precautions in place for situations like that. And, again, this is the midterm election, and we know there's not a lot of steam behind that. Ian, one final question for you. As time moves forward, I would imagine that a lot of your energy in terms of folks getting out to vote will be geared toward the younger population, because they don't seem to be too interested these days right about now.
Yes, we do focus on the younger generation. And what we found is if we can catch our young people right after they turn 18, last year high school, first year college, 18, 19, 20, if we can get them registered to vote and get them to participate in that first election after they've registered, while they may not be super voters, they will have a higher propensity to become lifelong voters. So it's real important that we catch our young people. And you brought up the numbers for the election. And as of this Saturday, we had a little bit over 61,000 people to come out and vote.
Okay.
That's low.
Yeah.
Now, Shelby County has done a good job in voter turnout. When we compare ourselves to the other counties in Tennessee, we have one of the higher voter turnouts in the state, but it's still low. Come on, Shelby County. Come on, Memphis. We can do better than 61,000 people showing up to vote. Let's get out and make it happen, at least by November 8th, next Tuesday. Early vote, you can go anywhere and just take your ID with you, and you don't have to go to your assigned precincts to early vote. But if you wait until Election Day, you will have to go to your assigned precinct.
Well, listen, thank you both for taking some time to come on and talk a little bit about this. Sounds like the process is moving along, but you're right. We need to galvanize folks to get out to the polls. Linda Phillips and Ian Randolph, thank you both for coming on Real Talk tonight, and we hope everything goes smoothly, particularly on Election Day. You all stay safe out there, okay?
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for allowing me on your show. Bye-bye.
Absolutely that. Thank you so much. So, you heard it. The numbers are pretty low, typical of a midterm election, 61,000, Ian said. But there's still time on the early side. And there's also Election Day, which is Tuesday. So don't think your vote doesn't mean anything, because every vote does matter. Thank them both for coming on the show. We're going to go to our next break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about one of the amendments that was alluded to by Ian, which is Amendment 3. What is Amendment 3? Well, if you stick with us, you'll find out. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. You know who you are. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Is anybody there? Kathy. Hey, Joe is there. Kathy, how are you? We're doing fine. So listen, you two, we are in commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to chat a few minutes, okay? So you all just stand by.
Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by the Onstage at the Halloran Center season, presenting the Orchestra Unplugged, Vivaldi, The Four Seasons, on Thursday, November 17th. Robert Moody and members of the Memphis Symphony Orchestra will bring you inside the mind and music of Vivaldi to discover new connections and meanings to this group of 4 violin concertos. For more information, visit orpheum-memphis.com. WYXR is supported by Graceland Live, presenting Big Bad Voodoo Daddy's Wild and Swingin' Holiday Party on December 10th. For 29 years, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy has created their own take on American swing and jazz music. Drawing on a catalog of holiday classics and Christmas originals, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy will bring its live holiday show to you. More information at gracelandlive.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Very happy to have you with us tonight. Excuse me. And I'm very happy to have my next guest. Now, I'll be honest with you, this particular amendment that is on the ballot is something that is surprising to me. And I'm just curious to know, the why and how it cropped up and why it's a thing now. It's basically an amendment to remove any language pertaining to slavery that is currently and still on the Tennessee Constitution. So I brought a couple of folks in to kind of talk to us a little bit about that. Representative Joe Towns is joining me this evening, as well as Kathy Chambers, and they are both proponents for this particular amendment. And folks, thank you both for coming on the show to Real Talk. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you as well, Chip. Absolutely for having us, and trying to gain some clarity to something of this magnitude. Now, let me give you a little background, if you don't mind, Chip.
Absolutely not.
6 years ago, I began working on this amendment. It's been in the Constitution. It's in the U.S. Constitution by way of the 13th Amendment. And people don't think about it after, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. People just take for granted that it actually, nothing of that magnitude would be there. But it is there, but it's under certain conditions. Slavery in this country still exists under certain conditions, especially in the state of Tennessee. And the condition is that if you are incarcerated, okay?
Yeah.
Indentured servitude, slavery exists if you're incarcerated. Now, many people have to reckon with the fact that slavery was a system, a subjective system, but primarily people were exploited for their labor. And after the Emancipation Proclamation, the system still decided how could you take advantage of folk? Well, you put them in jail for vagrancy laws, whatever kind of laws you can come up with, put them in jail, and they still were working for free while they were incarcerated. So you still became, an indentured servant or enslaved while you were in jail. It's in the Constitution under the 13th Amendment. And under no circumstances do we need to have anything that resembles one of the most horrible things, I would say as an African-American man, one of the most horrible things that's ever happened to this country was the subjection of people, the murder, the taking of their labor, the enslavement of people in this country. We're still dealing with some of the vestiges of that today. So we need to take it out of our sacred documents. So hence come Amendment 3. Now, Amendment 3, had we passed it 6 years ago, Tennessee would have been the first state perhaps in the country to do it, okay? But it has to go through the process, the technical process, the readings and the votings. But we have an opportunity this Tuesday and early voting right now to take and vote yes on Amendment 3, okay?
So
now, one other caveat for that is I must say is that in order for that vote to count, you must vote for your choice of governor. Whatever it is, vote for your choice of governor. But you got to vote for your choice of governor, then you vote yes on Amendment 3 to take this hateful clause, overlooked clause, abominable clause out of the Constitution.
Okay, so that was a well-placed and very good explanation for all of this. I guess my question is, and from what I'm understanding, there are 5 states in total that have this, in their Constitution, and that they're people are going to go to the polls to vote on it one way or the other. Kathy, this is clearly not a political issue per se, Democrat, Republican. This sounds like a right versus wrong issue. I guess I'm trying to figure out where did the attention come from about this particular year? That's what I'm lost on.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people ask that question. What's okay? The situation is that in 20 states, actually, right now, it still exists in their constitution, and it still exists, of course, in the U.S. Constitution, as Representative Towns said. Colorado, Nebraska, and Utah have removed it from their constitution. I think Colorado in 2018 and Utah, Nebraska in 2020. So I believe then, I'm not sure how, it is interesting with the timing that so many states have it on, but actually a few other states attempted to get it on the ballot this November, and for one reason or another, were not able to get it through their state legislatures. I think it's that, as Representative Towns said, this has been in the works with him for 6 years, and it also started when Reverend Jeannie Alexander, who used to work as a chaplain at Riverbend, spoke to one of the inmates who were there. He came into her office and he said, I'm not going to be free even when I am free, because this still exists in Tennessee's Constitution. And she thought, what are you talking about? And this was a decade ago. And so she's actually been working on this, trying to figure out, how to get this on our ballot for about a decade. And then when she started speaking with Representative Towns, it was a match made in heaven as far as he's the perfect person to bring it through the legislature, and Senator Ackberry on the Senate side. And that's how we got here. Now, I'm not sure how the rest of them did, except the idea that it is more than time in 2022 to have this completely gone from our Constitution and from other states.
So let me ask you this, Joe. In reference to this and what Kathy just said, Are people paying attention to this? I mean, have you? I mean, clearly it's on the ballot, on both sides of the House, and it's not one of those issues that is a Democrat or Republican issue. But are people here starting to focus in on that, or are they asking, like I'm asking, why is this being brought up?
Well, I mean, people have a right to ask questions and be inquisitive about anything that's out there. There's so many things that has to compete for their attention. All right, the timing is a question that you begin to do things when you discover it. Okay, it should have been done 100 years ago, 200 years ago, whenever it was.
Sure.
However, it was discovered at a certain point in time, and those around the country, I believe they were taking the lead from Tennessee because, as I said, I initiated this 6 years ago. At that time, Mayor Lee was the sponsor on the bill. And from that, no one was introduced at that particular point in time. Legislation is good legislation, travels the country. People pay attention to it. Now, part of being on your program, your show, this is a part of getting the word out. We've done things across the state to talk about it. And let me emphasize very emphatically that this particular bill is a bill that was done by Republicans and Democrats. There are only 25 Democrats on the House side. The first year I passed it was unanimously passed on the House side. We can only do it with the help of the Republicans. So you got people like Corker and Faison and other members of the Republican Party that understand and are supporting wholeheartedly to take this out of our Constitution. So, I mean, obviously we should have done it a long time ago, but the time is now, today, right now, this week and next Tuesday to vote yes on Amendment 3 and get this out of our Constitution. And we're hoping that your program and others that are far-reaching and have the influence and impact on the community and educating community, they will get it and go to the polls and make the decision to just simply vote yes on this particular amendment. It's bad for business. Historically, is absolutely obnoxious to have it there. These are our sacred documents that we like to consider our sacred documents that we export across the world, democracy. And so we cannot have this kind of verbiage in our Constitution, in any of our sacred documents. That needs to be addressed. And fortunately, I was able to fight for 6 long years, and we are addressing it, and we need citizens to go out, early vote, as well as vote Tuesday of next week, and vote yes on Amendment 3. But don't forget to vote for governor. And we said like this, it's Democrats and Republicans and independents agree that we all should vote yes on 3. Okay.
Well,
we all agree that we should vote yes on 3.
Well,
and I want to say that one thing that's excited me the most about this is, we're in deeply partisan times. I think the rhetoric, the vitriol is people are angry. People are really, really angry on both sides of the aisle. And this is one thing that when you look at this, we're all able, when I first came in and started looking at this campaign, the first thing I said is this has to be bipartisan from the beginning because it was bipartisan in the vote. And it's not a partisan issue, and it shouldn't be. Yeah. And we are able to we've got Democrats and Republicans, we've got mayors, everybody from Mayor Harris on up to Mayor Glenn Jacobs in Knox County. We've got chambers of commerce, Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Williamson County, Kingsport, Lawrence County. We have over 250 clergy members, and I believe our count is up to now 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 bishops that have endorsed this.
Well, listen.
So something for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I got to run, but thank you for taking some time to come on and just kind of explain this to us. And again, it's important to vote. It's important to vote. And, you've given some pretty good reasons as to why folks might want to consider voting yes on 3. But Representative Joe Towns and Kathy Chambers, thanks for coming on Real Talk tonight. I really appreciate it. And best of luck on Election Day.
Thank you so much for having us.
Y'all take care. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Memphis.
All right. So listen, I hope you all got a pretty good explanation. They did a good job of explaining exactly the what and the why involved in all of this, and we appreciate them for coming on the show. Our final break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about welcoming back an old friend. How about the Kojic Convention, or as my next guest says, the Holy Convocation, the 114th version. Kojic is back in the city of Memphis. I'm Chip. Last break, right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by Minglewood Hall, presenting Dwayne Betts on Thursday, November 10th. Dwayne Betts is an American guitarist and singer-songwriter with a history of performing with the Allman Brothers, Dawes, and Jamtown. Betts is prepping a second solo album, furthering his six-string stories to reflect on a life steeped in blues, rock, and country music. More information at minglewoodhallmemphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to the big broadcast on this Monday evening. And as we alluded to before the break and at the top of the show, an old friend is coming back to the city of Memphis, and it's going to involve thousands of people. We are talking about the 114th Holy Convocation, Kojic Holy Convocation. And joining me to talk a little bit about all of this is someone that all of us know here in our city, Bishop Brandon B. Porter from the Greater Community Temple Church, and also a general board member and instrumental in getting the Kojic Convocation back in the city. Good evening, my friend. Nice to see you.
Bless you, my brother. Good to see you, Chip, as well. You work all day long, man.
Well, a little bit, a little bit. But listen, but thank you for coming on. And this is just flat out. This is a very big deal. 10 years plus since the convocation, the Holy Convocation, is here in Memphis. How significant is this, and how are people receiving the news that they'll be back here in just a few days?
Well, it's extremely significant and just a wonderful thing, because we've been trying our best to get through the discussions with our General Assembly and, of course, the Church of God in Christ and the city of Memphis, all the partnerships that are necessary to make this amalgamation happen. And so finally it came together. But then right after that, the pandemic hit, and it delayed us. We were supposed to have been back in full operations and presentation for our Holy Convocation last year, but we had to end up going virtual because of the pandemic. And everybody's excited now that we can come back and see the saints together in Memphis and get some good old Memphis barbecue and catfish and have great fellowship, and then just experience the glory of God together here in the city of Memphis.
Yeah, this is something, as you said, that folks have been looking forward to for a long time, and St. Louis has had it the last several years, and I mean there really has been an issue ever since it left for it to come back, and you make no bones about the fact that it started here. This is home, and we want it back, and more importantly, now that we have this opportunity again, we want to show out and show up and really make it something that people are going to want to come back for again and again.
Absolutely. We want people to have a great experience. That's what I've been saying to many of our committee members. I headed the committee that Bishop Blake at the time put together for us to go and do our evaluations on what could happen. And Bishop Drew Sheard was on the committee with me. He's now our new presiding bishop. And so we were anxious, and along others, meeting with Mayor Strickland and, of course, Kevin Kane to make those negotiations that necessary. Memphis has missed out on the Holy Convocation for the last 10, 11 years. That's $50,000+ a year that has been away from Memphis, $50+ million, a year that's been away from Memphis, because Kojic brings those kind of dollars in 1 week's time through the hotels, through the restaurants and the various things that we do in shopping here in the city of Memphis. So we're glad to be coming back. But also the Church of God in Christ brings, we bring people that pray, because the prayers of the righteous availeth much. And we're praying for our city, and people are congregating. We're having great worship services all over town. So it's a meaningful spiritual time as well.
Now, you mentioned the economic benefit to the city. How many people do you think forecasted to be here? I think I heard you say something around maybe 30,000 maybe?
Yeah, we're looking for 35,000 people to come.
That's a lot of folks.
That's a lot of people. And they've been coming now, Chip, for over 100 years. So they know where to go when they get to Memphis. They got family here. There are probably some people have property here, And so when you come home, you're willing to stretch out and stay in places that you wouldn't normally just stay in. When you go home, you'll sleep on the floor. So they're coming in, and they're glad to be coming back to Memphis. But we still want them to have a great experience when they come here to Memphis, to our headquarters.
Now, to be perfectly honest, a lot of folks, at the time that they left, here were not happy, about, the way we treated each other back in this. And very well what I'm talking about, not only from the visitor's perspective, but from the home folks' perspective. So we really need to show ourselves worthy of this, and we really need to roll out the red carpet as the Bluff City, as the home of the Kojic Convocation. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we definitely want that to happen, because whenever you have this kind of economic impact to a city, and then people that are of course understanding the financial benefits, they're considering this to be peak season. And so the people that are gouging the system, and supply demand becomes to be the dominant rule. And so since you're going to sell food, you raise the price because it's going to sell anyways. Because our people come and they eat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
They eat food, and they're going to come in and spend monies. And so we don't want the hotels to jump, sky high to the place where it's unaffordable, and it's just ridiculous. What people are paying for hotels that would normally be $95 are now $250 a night.
Sure.
And that's not cool. And when we can go other places and get better pricing because they're happy to have us come to the city.
So listen, one signature event, and I will say signature event because you were the one that created it and came up with it, but it has been such a blessing to so many people here in our city, and that's called Christmas in November. And I know that you are very proud of that. Talk a little bit about that. That's coming up here in just another few days. Am I correct?
It is. I actually started that event back in 1997 or so. And the presiding bishop at the time was Chandler David Owens, and asked me, he said, I want to give out toys to kids, Brandon. What can you do? I said, well, Bishop, we want to give away food, clothes, and toys. And we would expand that. And the people were coming in from across the country. We're bringing a lot of items. And now, since we're back in Memphis, the presiding bishop, J. Drew Sheard, asked if I would get that going again in Memphis. And we're getting calls, Chip, every day, about what's happening. And I want to thank you and others that are helping us put the word out, because the difference between good and great is exposure, right? Mm-hmm. So we're exposing and letting people know that we're blessing people. Kojic wants to not just come back and spend dollars in the restaurants and in the business sector, but also to give gifts. Bless people. So we're giving away brand new stuff. Thousands and thousands of garments and items. We got household products. If you need Lysol, trust me, we got truckloads. Come over and get what you need. We got toys for the children. And we're giving away, even in some cases, furniture. Limited on furniture, but it's some good furniture, name brand stuff. And then we're giving away appliances, small appliances. And this is going to be on November the 5th, Chip. November the 5th, from the hours of 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. That's this coming Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be held at our Greater Community Temple 5151 Winchester Road location, right there on the corner of Winchester and Castleman. And all are welcome to come. You can go to our website. That's communityprojectinc.org. Communityprojectinc.org. If any of our people in, please put that in the chat so they can see it. Communityprojectinc.org or Kojic.org. They can register online. And we got families. We got probably already 400 families that have registered online. You can register online. We got volunteers that are coming as well. You can do that online, and we look forward to seeing you. But you can also do it in person when you get here that morning. But we're just praying that people come. We got children's zones. There'll be bouncers for kids. We got food trucks, about 5 or 6 food trucks already reserved places so they can accommodate people. We'll have some free hot food as well, but then we'll have free vaccinations, free booster shots, flu shots, as well as free COVID testing. And then we're giving out free haircuts as well, Chip. Giving out some free haircuts for you, and you can come get lined up, get shaved up. And we got barbers that are donating their time just to bless families and people in this season. So come on out. Let's have a good time.
Absolutely that. And listen, I got to get out of here. But listen, I just thank you so much for what you do on a daily basis. To here in the city that you live in and that we worship in. And we're looking forward to the Kojic convocation being here. I've had a hard time with that all day long, for God's sake. But looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun and fellowship, and I'm just really excited for all of the folks in the Kojic organization. I really am.
Chip, I appreciate you. It's going to be great music. Kojic is known for his exceptional music.
Yes, sir.
And spiritual sayings. We'll have great evangelists and others that are giving testimonies just to encourage our young people and others and give them hope. So we'll have messages of hope going forth from our stage. It's going to be a great time. We look forward to you guys coming out. So everybody is welcome. Christmas in November the 5th.
Yes, sir.
See you.
Yes.
Right here.
God bless you, man. Thank you so much, and you be safe, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Love you, my brother.
Love you too. Thank you so much. All righty. Well, that's going to be very, very exciting. Christmas in November. Check out that. There's everything for everybody out there, and contact the church for more information. So before we get out of here, open the mic. I'm really proud of my girls here. They have aspirations to do this radio thing and have for a long time, and both of them actually have shows on the air that you can listen to. Of course, Nicole Covington is one, and of course, DJ Lola, Ayanna Cage is the other. They have been with me now for well over a year. They helped to put this show together, and I couldn't do it without them. But I wanted to give them a chance for a couple of seconds to talk a little bit about the projects. Nicole, you have a show that's coming on this Saturday night. Am I correct?
That is correct.
All right, tell me, give me a little bit about that. The station, the show, the highlights. Give me some highlights on that.
Yeah, the show is called 87 Radio. It's going to be live on Bumpin' 96.3 FM Memphis at 7:00 every Saturday, starting November 5th, and after that, yeah.
Okay, so you playing what kind of music is it?
It's mainly like throwback hip hop, but I mean, we got some new music in there. It's something for everybody: hip hop, R&B, rap, soul, all of that.
You're gonna have some. You're gonna do interviews. You're gonna intersperse interviews with that.
Yeah, in between, I want to give like Memphis artists the chance to like have a. I mean, someone took a chance on me, so I wanted to extend the platform to give other people the chance, to showcase their craft and give them a platform to bring themselves up too.
Well, we are going to be listening, and I wish you knew I love you, and I wish you the best of luck. It's going to be exciting.
Thank you.
It's going to be great. Lola, in a couple of seconds you have two satellite shows on right now, right?
Yes, I am on Weekend Radio. That's on the 365 Live app, 365 Live. Mm-hmm. Weekend Radio, the Weekend Lounge here in Memphis and Nashville. I am on Thursday and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. And also Street Madness Radio based out of Atlanta. That's on the Audacity app. That is the Audacity app. And that is on Thursdays at 1:30.
Listen, play the theme. Let's get us out of here. But listen, I am so proud of both of you. I feel like a father. I really do. I'm just excited for them as they are excited. And you guys support these folks, okay? They're out here doing and living their dreams. And that's what I encourage all the time. So listen, for Lola, for Nicole, and for your humble host, I'm Chip. I'm out. Have a great week. Be safe.